Hey out there, this is Thursday, January 28th, 2021. And it's just about 13 minutes past 7 in the morning here in Northern California. You see, I'm wearing my mask. I want to protect any listeners out there. Of course, I jest, but this is typically when I'm out and about this time of year when it's freezing cold out, wearing a jacket, a couple of shirts under there, and got them buttoned up, try to protect my my neck, my throat. When I was a child, I was susceptible to tonsillitis, and the doctors wanted to remove my tonsils, and my dad said he didn't let them, so I've got my tonsils still. But listen, friends, I hope everybody's doing well. I love everybody, and I want the best for everybody, and I just want peace. I'm a live and let live kind of guy, And if you're like me, then, we could get along. We could, this is what I wanted to touch on today, was this idea that these elitist control freaks, okay, these are the people at the uppermost echelons of power in this world right now. There's some dark characters. They're bad actors. I mean, I'm trying to put this as politely and with the right spirit as possible. I really am desperately trying. I'm a sinner, and I struggle sometimes. I really do, because I want to mock people, and I do. I do. I mean, it's a confession. That's an admission, and it's shameful. And that's when you know you're a sinner, when you feel that sense of shame and guilt and separation, because that's what it brings when we do that, when we decide that our attitude is justified. It's a self-righteous kind of thing, you see, and we can all fall into it. Yes, and I fall into it. Yes, and I consider myself a preacher. I mean, look, if God didn't use imperfect people, okay, to represent him, he wouldn't be able to use anybody. Okay, that's the way it is. I mean, Moses, is the guy for the Judaistic Jews, brought the Ten Commandments, and great guy and all that, I know, but, he did kill a guy, and he went on the run, and so, did he ever stand trial for that? Well, I don't think he ever did. He kind of escaped that, didn't he? But, I can't remember the whole story, how it played out, to be quite honest. It's Old Testament stuff. But I do know about the one that came after that. The one that John the Baptist said, whose thongs I'm not worthy to stoop down and untie, but John the Baptist was quite the guy in his time for the righteous people. But I digress, because really I wanted to point out the fact that it's very unfortunate. Okay, it's very poignant. It's very saddening, mournful, sorrowful. It's not a good state of affairs for the righteous at the moment. Okay, because bad men are still in control, and that hurts the righteous because they're profoundly frustrated. You see, when there's injustice anywhere, you're going to feel it, because you're a human being, you're a sentient being. You're inextricably interconnected through a scientific principle known as osmosis. So the righteous know this, and they're not going to deny it, and they live in a world where everybody's seems to be denying it. They're rationalizing and justifying, not objecting vociferously, under no uncertain terms, demanding change, not any old change, okay, but true, beneficial, positive, good change is what they want. Okay, and they don't just want it for themselves. They understand that you can't separate yourself. You can't divorce yourself from your fellow human being. We were built differently. If you just look at the way God built us, with this conscience, this invisible thing that the righteous wouldn't sell for the entire world. They wouldn't trade it for. But yet they have to contend in a world where people run headlong into those things and think they got it going on, and they're steering the ship of fools. They're the ones that create the policies we live under. So foundationally, fundamentally, the entire system is evil. I don't know a better word to use. Okay, it's a bad religion. It's a religion I call establishmentarianism. Or perhaps more apropos would be status quoism. Okay, these people want to keep us on this trajectory. If you look through history, you know that anytime things got too rough for those that are carrying the burden out there in society, working minimum wage jobs often, being subjugated, marginalized, and living in a world where everybody's rationalizing and justifying it's okay. We got to cheat somebody, wink, wink. Nobody's talking about that. But on a subliminal level, this is where people's heads are at, man. They won't even face the music. They don't want to smell the coffee, which in this case is a rotting carcass filled with maggots. That's what's become of my nation. And this is my beloved nation, America, that stands for the principles of guys like Abraham Lincoln, okay, and Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK. Today, the mainstream media, right, they'd say you're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, if you like JFK because of his speech denouncing the secret societies, right? If you brought that up, they'd call you a wild-eyed loon. You got just poo-poo everything you say. It's just you're unworthy. You're just a nut. You're a nut job, and they will just immediately condemn you. Okay. To the realm of obscurity, and that's it. Laughter curtain goes up, they just snub you, and that's it. Who's paying the salaries of these people? We're all forced to pay it. They run ads, right? They run ads. They're owned by private companies, right? They run ads, and you have to pay more for those products you were going to buy anyhow. You understand how this works? So it's like paying insurance or buying a lottery ticket. While the vast majority of people loses on insurance, I mean, how do you think these companies are so profitable? But yet we're mandated by law to have it. Wouldn't it be nice to have your job? Oh, you must have this thing that I offer. Yet that's the world we live in. Everything's crammed down our throats from birth. We're told to accept the status quo. You got this cost of living, and you just have to pay it. Don't ask any questions. Just pay it. Just capitulate. Just comply, conform. Accept your programming from birth that this is the way it is. And anybody that questions this is a nut. They lack common sense, okay, and they're trying to fight the system, and you can't do that. I mean, who's the guy? John Mellencamp that came up with the song, I Fought the Law and the Law Won, or authoritarians, I find, oh, that's the one. Yeah. Authority is always winning. Right. Well, yeah. The authority. Don't question my authority. Right. But it's just so much crap in our society is unfounded. It's baseless. I mean, the laws are constantly, perpetually in flux. And a lot of times they won't explain. Well, explain why that's wrong. Now, pot. There was never anything wrong with that. It was, we just, now it's legal. Now we're going to legalize it nationally. And, but they had to get their you-know-what hooks in there. They couldn't just decriminalize it, right? No. They want to legalize it so that they can make money, get their cut, right? You understand? I mean, it all goes back to theft and slavery. And people that will do anything to have their way. They love their lives in this world. It's working very well for them, and that's it. Okay, yes, you've got your super uber wealthy, but they're not Bill Gates, and they're not Warren Buffett, and they're not Jeff Bezos. They're not the people you think. Those are paupers, okay? These multi-billionaires are mere paupers. compared to those that own the perpetual money printing right. I mean, wouldn't you agree? I mean, if you own the perpetual money printing right, the sky's the limit. You're worth as much as you say. You're an infinite heir, basically. Numbers become meaningless. You're as much as you say you're worth. You just proclaim it. You just decree it. And as long as you have the trust, you have the faith of the public, right? They believe in you like a god of this religion. You got the priest class, all these politicians. I thank God I've got so little faith and have for so long had so little faith. Ever since I saw Jimmy Carter lose, a Democrat. Okay, what does that tell you? These people, they're in cahoots, Democrats and Republicans. They're status quoists. Those are the ones that are ruling, and they're steering the ship. They're keeping us on this trajectory through debasing our currency, okay, deworthing, a term I made up, deworthing your money, so you understand, right? It's self-explanatory. Diluting, watering down your money through artificially increasing your cost of living and making you think there's a rhyme and a reason, and fingering capitalism. Oh, blame the capitalists, blame it while they're all making their money hand over fist investing in real estate and crap. Now, did you hear the latest? They're going to bail out all the landlords now. Can you imagine that? Now all you idiot tenants, when the governor's declared there's a moratorium on paying rent, you can't make these people pay rent. We don't know what's going on here. But then I got to hear Judge Millian from People's Court saying, oh, those tenants better know all that money's going to become due and payable sometime, and now they're going to bail out the landlords. Where were they in 2008 bailing out these people? Oh, but they lied on their loans. Like, you're not the biggest, fattest liars out there. No, you're worse. The worst, do you remember? How many turds in a punch bowl? And then these turds just go, I'll be a turd too. It's very profitable. They're murderers, man. I mean, we're talking about the types that would do what they did to JFK. Another Democrat. I like Democrats. I'll give Joe Biden a chance to repent for what he did in 2008. But he's got to let things, we got to have a reset, man. Don't raise minimum wage. I don't want minimum wage to go up. Read me right, man. I want justice. I want fairness. I want equity for the people pouring out their blood, sweat, and tears every day out there, doing jobs that are imperative to the welfare of society. And nobody can refute that fact. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm passionate. I'm coming across. See, I'm failing. In my mind, in my estimate, I'm failing. I'm sorry. I apologize. I do not mean to offend anyone. I'm coming off self-righteous. I'm coming off with this indignant spirit, and I don't like it. I apologize. It's who I am. I'm struggling. I'm really having a hard time. I've been watching this thing unfold for a long time. I'm one of those frogs that got in the pot a long time ago. Okay, my friends, and I've been watching this thing happen helplessly. Okay, as humanity has been just gradually been put into a hypnotic state. A lot of stuff's happening on a subliminal level. People have no idea how much happier you could be if you just ended desperate poverty. You start there in America. We're trying to set an example for the free world around the world, and we've become the laughingstock of the planet. A Christian nation. You think the wrath of God doesn't hang heavy over a nation that calls themselves Christians and allows the downtrodden to be treated the way they are in this country? You see it in California. Maybe you're not seeing it where it's too cold. Out of sight, out of mind, like they say. Here in California, a lot of these people are trying to live outside in tents. They're trying to survive. They're trying to survive. I'd perish one night out in this stuff. And I meet these people. They're no more or less deserving of having a warm, dry place to sleep than I am. Jesus said, whatever you do or fail to do for the least of these, you do or fail to do for me, a Christian nation. And you wonder why I get indignant. I'm sorry, I'm at my wit's end. I mean, what does that mean? It just means my need for God in my life is stronger and stronger and stronger. It freaks me out, man. I'm hurt. I'm wounded so grievously over this. You have no idea how my conscience is stricken. I'm just like you. I'm as worldly as the next guy. Yes, I want prosperity. Yes, I want a beautiful, fast car, man. I've got a need for speed. I want to be able to ride on a racetrack, and it costs bread. You know, I love those things. Ever since I was a young preteen, I was into dirt bikes. You know, just getting crazy, and that's so much fun. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, guys love that stuff. You get into it, it's so addictive. The speed, and then I got into street bikes, big bikes, and I would like to drive fast cars. I'm worldly, believe me. Yeah, and I'd like a bunch of nice pads all over I could share with my family and friends. And I'd like a big compound where my whole family and extended family and friends and anybody else that wanted to live there could live there. Yeah, I'd love that. I got dreams. I want to start a cut flower cafe on the coast here. You know, maybe people could get with every cup of coffee, you get a bouquet, flower for your sweetheart.